What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Today I have for you guys another exciting unboxing to dig into. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I would love to have you here. And before you head out, hit that thumbs up button. Greatly appreciated, everyone. So, we have a knife coming in from Ruike here. And this is another one coming in from them that looks extremely interesting. And their knives are, for the most part, very, very affordable. And they come in some great materials for that price. Let's get that tag off. We have our Big Idea Design TPT slide here. So we'll just cut it with that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So this is the Ruike right here, or Ruike. I'm not sure how it's pronounced because there's a Ruike and then there's a Ruike. So I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Either way, it's this company, not the Rike, but it's the Ruike. And these guys make very good, affordable knives here. And I don't have a ton of experience with them. I've handled a couple of them, and the couple that I have handled have all been, so far, very, very good. Now, this particular one, let's see if I can find a name here. It is going to be the P155. So they are still doing the, I guess it's right there on the blade, the P155W. And I think that's for the handle material. It's the P155. You'll be able to find it easily. And this bad boy is coming in 14C28N, and that was my main draw to this knife when I was checking out what they had to offer. Typically, I don't go for these huge ups. I guess it's not huge. These more upswept types of blades. But the way it looked from the pictures, like I would still be able to use that tip if I had a more straightened up grip. And it looks like that might be the case. We just checked out one from CJRB just a day or two ago. That is the exact same idea. It's a little bit higher than your pivot, and you can still use that tip though. And the belly will come in handy. This is kind of just a really long upswept area here to the blade. You're going to get this gray PVD type coating here. I don't know what they're calling that. It really looks like a gray DLC, gray PVD type of coating. I know it's probably not a DLC, but it does look pretty good. And the edge feels pretty good. We got some nice stepped thumb studs there. And we also have a flipper tab for deployment. So we got multi-deploying options. We got good access to that liner there. And they put a chamfer and some jimping on there. So that is a nice touch. Good lock up there, about 25 to 30%. Nicely centered, guys. Well done. Ergonomics. This has that kind of sweeping down handle. And I just recently found out that this is extremely comfortable. It is a handle shape that I did not ever think would be comfortable. And boy, was I wrong. And I've actually had in a couple. I'll bring out here one right now. But something that is almost identical, but it's a slip joint. It's got that old school pistol shape to it. And this one might be a little bit more pronounced, but they are pretty similar. This one's just a little thicker, but I've also had a couple other ones in that kind of have that same aesthetic and that same handle. And I'm telling you what, guys, it actually is really comfortable in hand. It just the way your hand... the way the handle is done and the way it sits in your hand, it's just very, very comfortable. And whether you might not think so, but it might be worth giving a shot. And this having a full length backspacer is really going to add to that ergonomic comfort. And one thing I found out the extremely hard way is this little lever back here. I was wondering if this one had it too. But if you see that right there, this will slide forward and prevent this from being disengaged. It must slide a little tab behind the liner there. By the time you're seeing this, the other one should have already went up, but I found that out extremely hard with this one. I could not figure out for the life of me. It had been going so good, and I flipped it open. I went to close it, and I couldn't close it. I could not fit. I thought something got stuck in there. I thought a screw got loose or a bearing or something was stuck behind the liner, and I happened to just somehow, some way, roll this over and be looking at it from this direction to see, and I realized this was here on the same. It's the same thing. So what that does is actually lock that liner up. If you didn't see that video, there's a full detailed unboxing of this up, the P138. And that is also in 14C. That is a nice Tanto style blade. So they definitely have some different offerings when it comes to their blade shapes, their handle materials. So why don't we go ahead and we'll see what that pocket clip looks like in the pocket here. And we will have a little bit poking out. About that standard, under a 1/2 inch, which I have come to, I wondered the other day. It's not something I ever checked, but I started checking a couple off of camera, and I was wondering how far does a milled clip stick out typically, and how far do some of these lower mounted, right, style of clips, how much knife is actually poking out. And what I found is it's roughly a 1/2 inch or under pretty much every single time, and it becomes very apparent once it's past a 1/2 inch. It'll just look like quite a bit. In this case, that is definitely under that 1/2 inch, and what I've found is that is awesome if this is something you're going to be using very frequently throughout your day. It'll be easy to get a hold of that knife to pull it out of your pocket, and then also the same in reverse to put the knife back down into the pocket. So it isn't a bad thing to have a little bit of the knife poking up. Now, if you're using the knife for tactical, minimalist type deals, you know, you might not want it sticking out. But if you're intending on using it day to day, all throughout your day, having a little bit of the knife sticking out is not a bad thing in that scenario. Why don't we go ahead and we'll check that edge. And the last one that we had in came with a very nice edge. So let's see if this is the same. And yeah, nice and quiet. Can hear it just a little bit. Yeah, nice edge. Yeah, nice edge on that guy. We can also check it on some cardboard. This guy does have some paper on it, but it is single wall, so we'll start with the tape side here with the grain of the cardboard. Yeah, definitely got a nice edge. I would say about standard blade stock there. Let's go against it. You can tell it wants to bite right in. As soon as you get in there, you can tell it wants to bite in. So that's got a good edge. As far as using the tip, right, you'll be able to climb up in that sharpening choil a little bit, or even stay before it and work up onto that tip, and you'll be able to use that tip. Will it be the easiest tip in the world to use comparatively to a sheep's foot or Wharncliffe? No, of course not. Something that is low like that, or even a very low drop point, not going to be as easy, but still definitely doable with this type of blade. It's not that upswept. It just has that look like it would be very upswept just because of how the handle is done. It looks kind of like it sweeps a little bit more, at least in the photo. It's really not that high. It is higher than the pivot, but not by much. So it's just a little different, a little bit more unique of a blade shape. Some people love these style of blades, and then some people don't. So, and that's the case with every blade shape. I would say, just out of my experience, a lot of or most people probably don't prefer something so high like this. But if you're in the collecting phase, see, these videos can be aimed at a multitude of different people. Are you looking, or a bunch of different groups, if you will? Are you just looking for an affordable knife that has great materials, fit and finish, multiple opening methods, and is going to come out of the box solid? Then there's people who are looking for a utility style knife, a work style knife, right? Well, in that case, this might not be the best option, you know, for that type of work. Or are you just looking to add to your collection, different blade shapes, different companies, that sort of thing, you know, then this could be a good option for you. Are you just looking for a day-to-day, everyday type of cutter that can do most tasks in your daily life? Well, that's going to be very dependent on what you do, but this would be just fine if, you know, you're just using it as a casual cutter, breaking down some cardboard, opening up some packages, mail, you know, that type of thing. This is going to do the job just fine. So it's going to be, you know, these videos can be aimed at a lot of different groups, and it's just going to be very dependent on where you fall. For me, even before I started my channel, my goal was to have knives from every respectable knife manufacturer, right? I wanted to try different steels, different handle materials, different opening options, different locking mechanisms, different blade shapes, you know, because I am in the section of a collector. But as a collector, I also have things that I prefer in some cases, or things I lean more towards. I do like utility style knives, lower drop points, sheep's foots, worn clips, but I still love tantos, you know, clip points. I still enjoy these types of knives right here, like the trailing point style. So I like a little bit of everything. And as I've become a YouTube creator, or a creator on YouTube, now it's even kind of doubled. I want to check out everything from everyone. That way, you guys as viewers have as many options from me, at least, as you can when it comes to looking for any price point. Whether it's a $30 knife, $40, $50, all the way on up, I'd like to give you guys as many options from as many different companies as that I possibly can. So that's why you see me accepting knives from pretty much whoever. I'm willing to take a look and see what happens. Let the knife do the talking, so to speak. And in the case of the Ruike company, they have a couple of very solid models, and this is another solid one. Now, whether it's going to be, there, it's locked up, whether this is going to be your cup of tea for the blade shape, you know, that's going to be entirely up to you. But is it going to be comfortable? Yes. Is it going to carry well? Yes. Easy to unlock or disengage? Yes. Going to be able to fidget with it? Yes. Detent's nice. Is it going to cut right out of the box? It should, if it's like this one. So might be a good option if you like this style of blade. And then 14C speaks for itself. It stands on its own. In my opinion, there's nothing like that steel in anything under $100, or even remotely close. If you factor in the toughness of 14C, it is one of the toughest steels in all of the knife steels. So I think some people get lost in just hearing what they hear. 14C is one of the toughest pocket knife steels or fixed blade steels that there is. And then it's also very corrosion resistant and doesn't have the best edge retention, but it is, on the other hand, very easy to strop or sharpen back up. So, you know, you lose the edge retention a little bit, but where you lose out on that, you make up for it on the back end by just being able to touch it up very easily, especially if the geometry is good. So that's, you know, a lot of pros in my opinion when it comes to 14C. I love it. I'm a huge advocate of 14C. Let me know what you guys think of the company, of the knife. Do you have any experience with any of their knives? I love hearing from you guys, so let me know down in the comments. Really helps these videos out. So does hitting that thumbs up button. Greatly appreciate it when you guys do all those things. And if you're new here, definitely hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you here. We release new videos every single day. That'll be it for this one, guys. Love you. Have a good day, and I will catch you on the next one.